The Puma is the perfect support tank, but in my opinion it comes with a huge flaw. It has one of the lowest penetration value for its darts at this BR range. Yes, you have a high fire rate, but so do other enemies. Taking out enemies sometimes feels like a gamble, and you have to rely heavily on your teammates, and that can be a bit difficult at 10.0. However, I still managed to have some good matches playing this vehicle, and I will show you how. Welcome to my new video. In my other guides I always talk about the advantages and disadvantages and recommend if you can brawl with a vehicle or if you have to play as support. For those who saw my guide on how to play tanks above 8.0, they know that only speed matters. This is why we will have a look at how fast the Puma is in different categories, and based on that I will give a recommendation on how to play it. So let's have a look at the chart. Make sure to check out my guide on how to play higher tiers. I will link it in this video. Please note that I am trying to compare the categories with other vehicles in the corresponding BR range at that time. In addition, I am focusing on the 3 major nations in the comparison and taking into account some frequently played vehicles from other nations. Let's have a look at the mobility of the Puma. This vehicle has a forward speed of up to 70 km per hour and can back up into solid cover again with up to 30 km per hour. Compared to your enemies, the forward speed is good and the reverse speed even better. You can peek and boom really good with the vehicle or relocate if needed. This is why I rate the Puma almost top for mobility. How good is the Puma at detecting enemies? Well, to make it short, the Puma is excellent for this task. You'll have access to a thermal vision device of the 3rd generation. This means you don't have to count the pixels and guess if it is an enemy or not. In addition, you can actively scout enemies for your teammates. The magnification of the Puma is amazing, and this makes detecting enemies from further away even easier. On top of this you have a scouting drone and can use the eye in the sky to ping enemies for your teammates or to plan your way towards the enemy. So yes, I rate the Puma top in this category. How fast can you get your aim on the target? Minus 10 degrees of gun depression, a really good turret rotation speed as well as the stabilizer and laser rangefinder leave no doubts you will get your gun fast on a target. A little disadvantage might be the magnification. It works really good when you play the Puma from further away, but in close combat you might not want to zoom in. The turret of the Puma has no crew in it. This means you can even stay in the open for longer without losing a crew member right away. But the ammo belt is also in the turret and a well placed shot allows the enemy to destroy your ammunition. This will light up your turret like a torch. So be aware of this and don't count too much on your turret. So in this category I rate the Puma almost top, because sometimes the zoom can be annoying. Time to kill. Well, in this category the Puma is struggling, because of the low penetration value and projectile mass. You have a fast fire rate, that is not the problem, but with only up to 121mm of armor penetration, and a poor after penetration damage you can't destroy every vehicle right away. So when you attack an enemy you want to maximize your chances. Make sure to shoot on the side armor, be close to the enemy and don't go for every kill. Pick your fights and only attack squishy enemies or only damage the enemy and better relocate. This is why I rate the Puma below average in this category. There are a few more things you want to keep in mind while playing this tank. The Puma has access to an infrared jammer. It is called infrared countermeasure, therefore in short IRCM. I will not dive too deep into this feature. This active protection system will help against missiles that use flares as guidance. Laser guided missiles won't be affected. Switch it on and be happy when it works and make sure to turn it off on night maps, because otherwise you will shine bright as the sun and be highlighted on the night vision devices of the enemy. For the laser guided missiles you have the laser warning receiver. This can help to alert you that it is time to use the fast reverse speed and get back into solid cover. Another feature is the lock-on aircrafts. I tried to lock on jet and helicopters, but even with the appropriate ammunition belt I wasn't able to hit them beyond 1 km. So the only thing I managed to do was to alert the enemy and reveal where I am. This is why I stopped shooting on jets and helicopters that are further away. Having all that additional stuff I rate the Puma with another 4 in this category. So overall I rate the Puma at a solid 4 when it comes to how fast it can do things. Now what does that mean for the playstyle of this tank? Despite the rather bad time to kill category, I recommend to play it as an aggressive support vehicle. You have the mobility to get fast to a good position close to a capture point, and you can also relocate if needed. To play the Puma to its full potential I like to find a hull down position close to a capture point, where I can shoot on the side armor of the enemy. You want to make sure that you have some teammates with you, because most certainly you will encounter enemies that you can't take out immediately. Be it that they face the frontal armor towards you or just the circumstance that your darts won't penetrate the side of the enemy. Just keep in mind that you don't want to go for the kill every time. It really helps to have a position where you can use your gun depression. There is no crew in your turret and you can take a few hits. Although there is a lot of empty space in the hull of the Puma and the engine sometimes blocks a shot. Hiding your hull behind solid cover is a must in the Puma. Help your teammates to destroy enemies. scout enemies for them and use your drone to check your surroundings before moving onwards. Keep in mind that the enemy can be everywhere and kill you from everywhere, so jump from one solid cover to the next while following your teammates. Whatever you do, make sure not to end up all on your own on the battlefield, which is not that easy around this BR. If possible, use the mobility to relocate. You can try to attack the enemy from a different angle or back up when you end up all on your own. To sum it up, play as support. Stay with teammates and make sure to use a hull down position close to a capture point where you can flank the enemy. But Gaijin adds more and more city maps with only little hull down positions. In this case I like to play the Puma sneaky, or some call it, play it like a rat. Use the mobility of this vehicle and flank the enemy. Make sure to find a position where you can shoot on the side of the enemy while he is focused on your teammates in front of you. In addition, you want to have a backup strategy. When you can't take out the enemy and he suddenly turns towards you, use the mobility to relocate and attack from a different position. When you are not aware of such positions on the map or the map simply doesn't provide them, you can also support from the second row. Wait for the enemy to waste his shot and use the reload time to damage tracks or even the gun. Help your teammates to repair and again scout enemies for them. Also have a backup plan prepared. The Puma is fast and has an outstanding magnification. This is why you also can play the Puma from further away and snipe or just scout vehicles. Unfortunately, you will not get many research points just for pinging enemies with your drone and a scout from time to time. I had better matches as I played it more aggressively. I hope I was able to give you some tips on how to play the Puma. Make sure to check out my guide on how to play higher tiers for more tips. Like, subscribe and leave a comment if you want to, and check out my Discord server for more information and to connect with other players. Hope to see you in game soon.